Leave your best comments below for a chance to be featured. Have you ever had to run for your life? What happened? A small plane crashed exactly where me and my two friends were standing talking once at an airshow. We all saw it coming at the time and, without saying a word, ran in different directions. Some small pieces of debris hit the back of my leg, but we weren't injured. The pilot, however, was killed instantly. I guess it's not a run for my life moment, but when me and my ex broke up. That night he'd had friends over, and so I'd gone to a park nearby to clear my head and calm down, and saw a guy walking around, and so I decided to leave. I felt him grab my arm. Instinctually, I kicked backwards and connected with his knee. He let go, and I ran faster than I have ever in my damn life. The complete 15 to 20 minutes back home. On 9/11, I was in a subway stuck in a tunnel 2 blocks north of the towers when the South Tower collapsed. The tunnel filled with smoke and dust. They evacuated us onto 14th Street, very close to the North Tower, right before the North Tower fell. Stood there looking up at it as it was coming down. I realised how easy I could be squashed by debris, so I turned and ran. I was chased by an aggressive orangutan in the Sumatra jungle. Those things can rip your limbs right off. My ex-boyfriend lived next to a big park with a wooded hill on it. It was in a not so great suburban neighbourhood just outside of London. We'd often sit up on the hill at night, smoking and watching dawn come up. One night we're there, sitting around a fire we made, and these 4 chavvy kids materialise out of the bushes and ask us for a smoke. It was me, my boyfriend, and one of his friends. We were all pretty high and relaxed, so we decide, why not? The kids then decide they'll mug us. They ask for our money and the rest of our weed. No offence, yeah, but you're like 10 years old, my boyfriend says. We gave you a smoke, so why don't you just leave us alone and we'll have a good night? At that point, about 10 more kids emerge from the woods, like a pack of pygmy headhunters, or the Lost Boys in Knockoff Market stall burglary. I can see my boyfriend and his mate trying to decide if they can fight what has now become a fairly large pack of feral children while high off their tits. The main kid tells us he has a knife, and we all turn and run, the kids on our heels. We manage to outrun them because they are tiny, albeit violent children, and make it back to his house, and spend the 2 hours before dawn paranoid in case the cut-rate children of the corn saw which house we went into and tried to break in. We all decide never to speak of it again, although my boyfriend does tell the story in the pub the next week, but neglects to mention that our ferocious muggers probably would have spent our money on sweets and comic books because they were tiny evil children. I was chased through Oslo by a fucking psycho with a gun. For many hours. I still remember the feeling when we saw his red car come shooting around the corner. We had no idea how he kept finding us, and no idea why he wanted us dead so bad. He took 5 shots at us that I know of. We only got away when we climbed a big fence separating to the train tracks, and then ran an hour and a half one way on them until we hit the next stop and got on it and took it home. The feeling of getting chased down by a guy who has shown what will happen if they get the chance was not fun. What really fucked us up was that nothing was even mentioned in the news. This is in Norway and this shit does not happen every day. It made me think that shit is a lot worse than what we know. I was on a train in Bihar, India near the Nepalese border where I was sitting with a group of people on the ground near the door. The train was super overcrowded. It was around 1 AM when the train crawled to a stop. We were all just chilling when one of the guys near the doors shoots up and yells something in Mathili. At that point, others start looking out the window and subsequently screaming and running from the door. I figured it was within my best interest to move as well and join the throng of people moving up into the train for their lives. Suddenly, the train slammed into motion as if it too were running. To this day, I have no clue what I was running from. Tiger? Angry elephant? Naxalites? But the look of terror on my fellow passengers' faces definitely got me going.